Fall is definitely here. Winter is coming. It's starting to get pretty frosty here in the mornings. Once the sun comes out though, it's pretty nice. So what we're working on today is going to be the Blue Barrel. So our kind of air diffuser slash small particulate settlement tank, right? So any matter that gets through those screens on the intake and gets into the barrel will hopefully end up at the bottom, and our penstock will come out the middle. And originally I was going to have the 3-inch pipe as my overflow back to the creek, but after seeing how much water was coming in with that 4-inch pipe yesterday, I think I might need a 4-inch overflow. Just when my water demands aren't that high, all that water that's coming in has to get back. So I think I'm going to end up with a 4-inch going back to the creek. But the main thing I'm going to be working on today is basically getting the penstock ready to go. So this is schedule 40. So I'm going to cut a piece of schedule 40 and put it, a small piece, and put it into the Blue Barrel. So I'm going to use the Uniseal with a piece of schedule 40 that goes into the tank. It's going to be cut pretty short. So this is my ball valve. Look at this thing. It's freaking huge. I was originally going to use this at the powerhouse, but I should use a gate valve instead, which makes way more sense to me. So just to utilize it, I'm going to put it up at the top. So this is going to be how I turn the water on from the top. I'm going to work on that this morning, then bring the barrel up to the intake, plug it in, and hook it all up. And hopefully we'll be one step closer to water. So despite having this really clear, nice installation instructions that even says for 3-inch pipe, use 4-inch hole saw, I was like, oh great. So I grabbed my 4-inch hole saw and drilled my hole right where I want my penstock to attach. And when I went to put this in, it was like, oh, I heard these were supposed to be really hard to put in. And then I realized it's because I put in 4.5-inch hole, and I don't have a 4-inch hole saw. Whoops. So rather than get a new barrel, buy a new hole saw and everything, I'm gonna figure out how to make this one work for now. But yeah, that was a bummer. So this is my fix for the for that hole that I cut that's too big. I'll basically cut a square of Resisto, and I cut a 3.5-inch hole in that, and then I put the Uniseal through the 3.5-inch hole, which kind of did a good job sealing the Uniseal on the outside. And then the pipe is going to go in here, and when I go to put it in, it's actually like, it's quite tight, which has got to be a good sign. So bummer that kind of blew it a little bit, but hopefully this fix here will last until I can fix it, because I'm ready to keep moving forward. So it's been running now just for one night, but everything still looks surprisingly good. Mostly where that water's hitting that screen still looks really good, capturing almost all of it. The pipe just needs a little bit of adjusting. Most of it's like overflowing out of the box and not coming out of the pipe. But I think with a quick twist of the pipe or something, that'll be easy to fix. And the Blue Barrel is going right here. And I think it's going to be a pretty exciting day. Opportunity for problem solving number 1. So you can see where the intake is. When it goes into the intake, comes out the black pipe. That's where it would go. That's where the top of the barrel is. So it's at about the right height. And I like it sloping down. There's enough water coming out the black pipe to fill the Blue Barrel. The opportunity for improvement comes because the penstock is coming out here. So I made that hole earlier today and hooked that pipe up. But I dragged the penstock over And to continue the downward slope, it needs to be right about where it is, maybe a little bit lower, but that intake is like way down here somewhere. So I don't know how the heck I'm gonna get the penstock to slope downhill when the intake is way down there. Have to think about it. Well, the reality is setting in that no matter which way I look at it, the pipe needs to be down here, which means that I need to dig all of this out down to that level, sloping slightly down, and then I need to redig the whole trench back to like way back there and try to come in through here and just turn the angle down as much as I can, but still have it go downhill and then hook into the barrel. So looking forward to that. So I was looking at all this and I was kind of stressing out because I want to fill it in. I don't like it looking this messy. And I was trying to figure out what I could possibly do with those seals and that barrel, and finally was like, take a minute, go get a 4-inch hole saw, make it right. You already have one bad hole in the barrel that I need to figure out how to fix now. But I'm going to take the barrel out, put in the proper uniseals with the proper size hole, and then get the overflow connected, the clean out connected, and then we'll work on the penstock. I'm going to take the barrel out now, put those uniseals in, put those pipes in, and see what happens from there. So I got my clean out hole in the barrel all lubed up, got the uniseal in there, got some lube on the pipe, got the pipe all filed so it's nice and smooth, and so just gonna slide the clean out in there. This pipe is actually quite long. It's going all the way down to basically the end of the river there, so it'll be a little bit of wrestling. I hear these things are hard enough when you're not dealing with a 25-foot pipe, but let's see how she goes. As you can probably see from the light, some time has passed, but we did get it in, which was awesome. There's like a bend in the pipe here. So I just kind of jammed the other end in and I got on top and I rode it like a bull. And I bucked it in there. And so it actually wasn't too bad, but we got a good seal there, which is nice. And so now I just cut another hole in the top here, right here. This is going to be where the water comes in from. I just want to fill the barrel up before it gets too dark. Check it out. Is that the clean out, you ask? Oh my gosh. Why, yes it is. Here's what we got going on. So, from the intake, we go through the pipe. You can see there's still a bunch of overflow, but this pipe is full into the barrel, and then the clean out's at the bottom there, and then that takes it down to where we just were. Might not be that exciting to you, but I'm pretty fired up and hungry. I think I should get something to eat. I'll come back tomorrow, but hooray! So we're back first thing in the morning and still looking pretty good. Everything I did last night looks like it's held together into the barrel, and then down here out the clean out. So it was bubbling like that last night too. I was kind of dreaming about those air bubbles, wondering if the that pipe that goes down into the blue barrel, so after the elbow, that pipe that goes down, I wonder if the air comes through the pipe, goes down into the barrel, and then it's so turbulent that the air is actually making its way to the bottom and then out this pipe. And if that's the case, then the penstock is like halfway up. I'm afraid that there's going to be a bunch of air that gets caught in the penstock pipe, which is not ideal. So yeah, just trying to figure out exactly what to do about the air. First thing I'm gonna do this morning is try and patch that 4.5-inch hole that I made where I originally tried the Uniseal, but it was too loose. And to do that, I'm gonna use the piece of plastic that I cut out. I'm gonna use this kind of pretty solid metal to give it some structure, some strength. I'm gonna put a piece of Resisto behind that, stick that all to the barrel, and then use this waterproof Gorilla Tape on top of that. And the first thing it says is it's great for is plastic. So hopefully it sticks well enough to the barrel. And so I might on the inside of the hole just use the waterproof tape, and then on the outside have all of this stuff all stuck on the outside, and hopefully together those create enough of a seal that all the water will stay in the barrel. I just patched the barrel, and there's a square of Resisto over top, and then the waterproof tape over top of that, both on the outside and on the inside. So I think between those two, it should be pretty solid and shouldn't leak, but if it does, I'll probably never even know. But nah, should be fine. All right, on to more pressing matters. The penstock and the overflow. So I know this seems like an excessive clean out to get from just to clean the barrel out, but I wanted to make sure, because it's going to be full of water when it's closed, and in the winter, so it's going to stay full of stagnant water, so it has to be buried under the ground so it doesn't freeze. And then I'm going to cut it back so the little hole is right there, and hopefully that'll all stay protected enough that it doesn't freeze. And then so that's going to get buried, then the penstock's going to come in on top of that and hook into the barrel. But that's why the clean out is so long and that way it's able to draw a lot of pressure out of the barrel and take a lot of the debris with it. But that's why it's so long and why it comes all the way out to here. I want to make sure that that is well buried. The clean out is working really well. You can see it giving her. So I think I'm gonna bury the clean out now, and then I can figure out exactly what's gonna go on with the penstock. So once that's all filled in, the penstock is basically gonna come in right on top of that and plug into the barrel right up there. Well, as suspected, the memory of the curve in this pipe from being on that reel is like, and there just not being that much pipe to work with is really, really difficult. So he anticipated that and brought up some pieces of plywood. So hopefully we can put the pipe through this 3-inch hole and then use the plywood to kind of get the pipe where we want it and get it to stay there so it's nice and flush and level when it goes into the barrel. And then ideally we can build a little box, so if the plywood ends up like here, build a little plywood box with a top on it that allows access to that on-off switch. So I'm building now. I have this this roof, this like roof piece, it's just the top, that somebody gave to me. It was like left over, they were moving. So they left it here, and it's kind of like the perfect size to cover up the barrel to the ball valve and the union. So I'm going to build a little box to go underneath that will keep everything accessible, and then I could backfill up against the box, so you won't really be able to see anything from the top. It'll look really nice and natural, and then you can lift that up, get to your ball valve, get to the union in case you need to do any maintenance. And so yeah, I'm gonna build that. And it's winter, and I'm and I'm just rolling up to the intake for the first time. I haven't been up here since the snow started falling, so it'll be interesting to see what's going on. So this is the clean out here, which a little bit of water is coming out, which is normal, still holding, which means that the blue barrel should still be full. That's the intake. So it looks like the flow has slowed down big time. So that's the overflow from the barrel. And in the summer, both of those were like, I didn't put in that second one there because this one couldn't handle all the overflow. And now, wow, does that ever slow down? That didn't sound very good. So that's a little notch there. Everything seems to still be holding up, which is fantastic. Alright, I'm going to play around with it a little bit and try to get the water flowing down that big old pipe. Well, like I said, it's been over a month, maybe almost 2 months, since I was up here last. So we'll undo the clean out and we'll see if any debris has built up. We should see it flowing out in that blue barrel. Oh, a little bit there. Wow, that's pretty good. There's just like a little bit of dirt coming out, but hopefully that means that there's not that much dirt getting in, and that when I want to clean it out, it actually worked pretty well. So, and it's not frozen. Great news. Yeah, the flow has definitely decreased a little since the summer, which is expected in the winter. And I can't tell exactly what's going on here. It looks like there's a little gap in behind here. And I can't tell if the water is almost like surface tensioning around the rock and going in that hole. And when it was higher flow, it was kind of jumping over that gap straight into the intake. But now it's kind of hugging that rock and sneaking in behind. You can see there's like a big pool of water. There's all the water running into it around the back of it. So it'd be nice if all that water, I might need to get like a bike tire tube and shove it in there to make sure that the water is going into the intake and not. Wasn't as big a deal in the summer, but now that the flow has lessened, because this is what's coming out of the hole. So that's okay. Version 1. I'll play around with it, try to capture all the water, and then that should be enough water to at least last for the winter. A couple showers and some dishes. But okay, I'll keep playing. Okay, so I got that little, well, it's hard to see, that little net around the intake pipe there, so that's going to be the secondary catchment, because when I put it in that hole, it prevented a lot of water. It would kind of clog that whole thing up and prevented the water from coming down this pipe. So it's just a little bit of sediment, and then based on what we saw coming out the clean out, I don't think it's going to be that bad to have it in the pipe. You can see a little bit of a sand pile there, but at least it's collecting in the bottom. But anyway, that little net that I hose clamped around there should be the secondary filter. So it'll go through this one, which catches most of the algae, and then it goes through that one, and hopefully that'll take care of that. So anyway, I'll hook everything back up and head back down. We're getting close to being able to turn this thing on. So I thought we'll see what the flow rate is right now. So I have the bottom of the barrel full, and I just need to do that to make sure that clean out line was full, so we're not counting that in our total. But we'll fill the barrel up, and when it starts coming out the overflow, that'll tell us our flow rate, and we'll start. Forget to close the clean out? Oh no, 4 minutes. So 50-gallon tank, 5 minutes. At least the math is easy. So that flow rate has gone from 60 to 70 to about 10. But I think we can increase that number a little bit, so we'll play around with it.